So good evening. Hello, everybody. I am so happy and excited to be with you here today. Today is November 13th, 2019, and we are gathered here today for this webinar that if I remember correctly, the title is, what are 10 questions you can ask yourself today to radically change what you create? So I'm so happy and excited that you chose to join me here live today or listening to the recording at a different time. No matter when you're tuning in and listening, your energy is being included in the energy of this group. And what would it take for each and every one of us to receive something useful from this webinar? So let's start. Let's see, what would be a great place for us to start? So let me first acknowledge that the majority of the questions and the tools that I'll be sharing with you today come from Access Consciousness. If you would like to know more about Access Consciousness, you can go to accessconsciousness.com. I might also be utilizing a clearing statement. And it kind of sounds like gibberish, you know, when I say it. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail explaining what the statement is. Just know that when you utilize a statement as a whole, like if you would like to read or learn every single word of it, or just say pod and pog for it, it literally acts as though you're utilizing a magic wand that completely clears all limitations, all thinking, all points of views that are showing up and are not allowing you to access a different possibility. So if you would like to get an amazing explanation on this clearing statement, you can also go to theclearingstatement.com. And Dr. Dane here, one of the founders of Access Consciousness, will show you a little video. Well, actually, you'll press play and you watch him in a video where he actually explains the clearance statement rather dynamically. So, where else can we start and what would be useful for us to hear right now? So, let's start by doing this, okay? Any judgment, any projection, any rejection, any expectation or separation that you have about me or about this webinar tonight, or even about yourself, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, are you willing to destroy and uncreate it right now? And if you say yes, it's always your choice. You never have to say yes to anything unless you choose to. You can say it out loud or in your mind. Then I'm going to use the clearance statement for that right now. And that is right and wrong, good and bad, pod and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay? So now that we cleared our projections, rejections, and expectations, let's talk a little bit about questions and why it's even useful to bring up questions in our life. Okay? So sometimes we navigate through life, actually almost always, you know, living in this sort of like space-time continuum that we call this contextual reality. And there are things that come up in our path. Some things we label as being like good, awesome, like, whoa, I can't wait to get some more of that. And other things we label as really shitty, really crappy, and totally sucky. I can't wait for the shit to like move away. And I'm also gonna be cursing tonight. So let's pot and pog anything that gets in the way of you being okay with me cursing too. So when we come upon, I mean, there's many different ways you can pretty much utilize questions. But let's say you come upon something that you might have labeled as negative or as an obstacle or a challenge or something that's sort of getting in the way of you feeling good, of you being happy, of you living the life of your dreams, right? Because this thing, whether it showed up in your body as pain or as an illness or a condition, or in your bank account as like a lot of debts and not enough money, or maybe in your relationships because you don't have anyone that you really want to spend time with, or you don't have like your quote unquote soulmate, or however like these different like charges or limitations or obstacles or challenges might be showing up for you. Because if you consider yourself human, then chances are you've experienced this at one time or another, and maybe even possibly now, okay? Then the tendency is for us to go into our brain, to go into our mind, to go into our thinking, and to want to solve the problem, want to solve the issue, want to, you know, figure out how to move through the challenge or the obstacle, the thing that has shown up in your body, in your life, or in your path. And when we try to, and I say literally, quote unquote, try to utilize our mind or get our brain in the way, we tend to, I mean, a lot of times we do come up with some sort of solution. And at the same time, we don't necessarily get the awareness of all the infinite possibilities that are available for us in order to be more, to become more, to do more, to truly be alive and enjoy this thing that we're calling our life. So a question and multiple questions can be used to, you know, become aware of different possibilities, like when that obstacle or challenge appears in your life. And a question is so powerful to actually ask them as you are creating anything in your life. And let me tell you, if you're here, if you're alive, you are creating. Whether you're doing that consciously or unconsciously, you are an absolute powerful creator. Most of the time, we're not even aware of what we're creating because our point of view is what ends up creating the reality that we are experiencing in our life. So if we're able to sort of get those like foggy lenses that can be our points of views and our judgments and our limitations and our old ways of thinking out of the way, we can actually all of a sudden become aware of what else is truly possible for us. And so a question is like that windshield wiper that can clear, you know, a foggy windshield that's not allowing you to see what's truly possible, not only just 2 feet in front of you, but 360 degrees all around you in every reality, in every dimension, in every universe, okay? Because the truth of the matter is that you and I are infinite beings. What does that mean? Is that we are so much more than just humans. We are so much more than this thing we call our body. And we are so much more than those things we have labeled as a problem, an issue, a challenge, or a limitation. And the thing about it is like as we're moving through our daily life, it's not so easy to remember that we're actually infinite beings. And when we do choose to remember this, we have access to infinite seeing, infinite perceiving, infinite choosing, and infinite receiving. So let's begin together right here and now by taking a deep breath in through the nose. You can close your eyes if you would like to, as long as you're not driving or operating heavy machinery. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and then fully exhaling through the nose as well. Take another deep breath in through the nose, and this time allow that energy, that is who you are, that energy, that space, that consciousness that is you, to expand in every direction all at once. Let's move this energy 100 miles in every direction, in front and behind you, to the right and to the left, above and below you. And as you exhale your breath, simply ask all your walls and barriers to go down, down, down. You don't have to know how to do it. There is nothing to do. It is just a request and a demand that our walls and barriers go down right now. So every wall and every barrier that we have put up, constructed, or built up around ourselves in this dimension, in this reality, in other realities, in other dimensions, and anything that I might be forgetting right now, let's just destroy and create all of that and allow all our barriers to go down, down, down. And now take a deep breath in, please, and allow that sparkly energy that is you as an infinite being to move beyond the boundaries of your body, beyond the boundaries of whatever you're in right now, whether it's your home or your office or your car. Allow them to move beyond the city you live in, beyond the state, beyond the country. Keep on expanding this beyond the beyond the beyond. Allow your being to occupy much more space than when we started this call. And then exhale the breath, bring down the barriers even more. Now expand so much so that this infinite being occupies the entire continent that you live in. And then let it expand even more to all 5 continents, to the earth, to the sky, to all bodies of water. It is all your being, it's all you. It is this infinite nature that is who you are. And then exhale the breath, and while remaining in this expansive and expanded state, begin to also bring your awareness and your attention back to here and now, back to where you are. And as you feel ready and able, just open up your eyes. And so a question for you right now is, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can we and our bodies be to have total ease, joy, and clarity with all of this? And this is the first question for the night that you can actually ask yourself. And if you're playing with us tonight, you don't necessarily, it's totally your choice, right? But you don't necessarily have to write down all these questions, because you are going to be receiving the recording of this along with a little mini PDF guide that actually has all these questions listed as well. But if you do want to take notes, feel free to do that too. Okay, so what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can we and our bodies be to have total ease, joy, and clarity with all of this? And then you can say anything that doesn't allow this, pot and pock. Okay, so that's your first question, and you can literally put that question to use with anything you're creating, anything you're moving through, anything you're about to do in your day. Literally just ask, because what you're doing is saying, okay, no matter what shows up in my day, no matter what I'm creating, no matter what appears to be these like insurmountable mountains in my life, what if I can move through it all and I can create with total ease, with clarity, and with joy? Okay? So that's the first question. Second question for tonight is, we already walked through the experience of what it's like to be reminded that you're so much more than a human, and you're so much more than this, body that sometimes can feel limiting, because the body is inside of you and your being is all around, right? So another question that you can ask as an infinite being as you're moving through different things in your life is, would an infinite being choose this? So let's see, like a way that you can utilize this question is, right now, like here in the US, we're about to have Thanksgiving, and then after that we have like, the holiday season, and probably all over the world it's the same thing. December tends to be kind of like a crazy month. Everyone goes into this state of like, I gotta decorate, I gotta cook, I gotta call my family, I gotta get together with my family, I gotta do all the shopping, I gotta do that, right? The whole world tends to go into this like crazy state, okay? Sometimes we can get carried away by it, and we might feel overwhelmed, okay? So a great question to ask when you're feeling that, or when you're sensing that, is, would an infinite being choose this? Like, would an infinite being really be overwhelmed? Would an infinite being really be stressed out? And if the answer that you receive is no, then you can ask yourself, well, why am I being this, choosing this, or doing this? And then you can just pot and pock all that stuff. Okay. So I think that's 2 or 3. I already lost count and we're only in the beginning. How does it get any better than this? Another useful tool to utilize, when we're asking questions, 2 more things that are showing up right now. The way that we use the tool of asking questions in Access Consciousness is to not to get an answer the way that we've been trained in this contextual reality to get an answer. And not only to get an answer, but also to get the right answer, okay? How many of you out there ask questions in order to get an answer and to get the right answer because you don't want to be wrong? Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So the way that we ask questions is to open up a doorway to different possibilities by receiving energetic awareness. So sometimes the awareness can come to you in the form of a cognitive answer with words or with a knowing of what to do or what to choose. And more often, the way that it shows up is just as an awareness that all of a sudden becomes available for you that wasn't available for you before you asked the question. Sometimes it happens honestly, it always happens instantaneously, but we're not always ready. This is my interesting point of view, is that we're not always ready to receive that awareness right away. So when we're ready, boom, that awareness will come, it will hit us, and we'll be like, oh my God, I can do this. Oh my gosh, I can try this. Oh my God, I can become this. Oh my goodness, I can choose this instead, okay? So we ask questions in order to access more possibilities and to receive more awareness, not to get a very concrete, solid answer, because the answers are usually disempowering for us, and the questions are the tools that empower us. Okay, so another useful tool is anything that feels heavy for you is a lie. Anything that feels light for you or expansive is a truth. And of course, this is just for you, because something that can be a truth or a lie for me might not necessarily be true or a lie for you. Okay, so the whole idea is to sense in your being when you're asking a question and receiving awareness. Does it feel constricting, tight, and heavy? Then that's a no for you, because it's heavy. It's not your truth. It's a lie. And then when you ask a question, if you receive the awareness that it's feeling light and airy and expansive, then that's your truth, and that would be your yes. Okay, this is an awesome tool. So the 4th question is, does it feel heavy or light? And you can ask yourself that question with everything that shows up in your life. And every time that you're creating and every time you're choosing, you can ask that question. Does it feel heavy or light? All right, let me unmute the participants that are actually here live. And let me just touch base with you right now. How are you doing? And does this make any sense? Not in a cognitive way, but sort of does it feel light for you?
It makes sense. A lot of sense.
Awesome. How are we doing?
Good.
When we go through these changes, when you do this, so much is happening with me that it's not, I can't always find the words.
Yeah, and that's perfect. You don't have to find the words, just go with the energy, follow the energy. Because energy is who we are. That infinite being that is who we are is energy, space, and consciousness. And energy is also our first language. And we've been, again, trained and conditioned to speak in words, to think in words, and to solidify our experience into a way that we can cognitively transmit it, think it, figure it, da, 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 da. So this is awesome. Let's fry our minds It's one of the things that you can do, you know, with the tools in Access Consciousness, and also when you get your bars run too. Totally gets your mind out of the way so that you can, I feel like I sound like an army commercial, so that you can be all that you can be. Join the army. Anyway, pot and pock, all of that. Okay, so light and heavy, okay? Now let's say number 5 is, like, let's say there's something that you would like to change in your life. A question you can ask is, what would it take for me to change this? So simple. So instead of going into the right and wrongness of what you're trying to change, and the right and wrongness of like how to do it, when to do it, who to do, what would it take for me to change this? You can even ask, who can help me? Who can contribute to me? And I think we're in 5 or 6. Again, I'm not keeping track very well of this because I had a whole list of questions just because my brain wanted to have a list of questions, even though there's a gazillion different questions you can play with in a webinar like this. There's no like right or wrongness. It's really like following the energy and seeing what showed up. But my brain was so into like, oh my God, you have to have a list because you're not going to know what to do or how to do it. So I did write a list of things that showed up for me in the afternoon when I was sort of like, you know, creating this webinar. And now it's like, I'm literally following the energy that you and everyone else that has joined, you know, even if they're not live here, this is what's being requested. So I'm kind of following that. So I have no idea what question I'm on, and it doesn't really matter. So another great question I love, and this goes towards like what Dominique was saying before we actually push record about like how difficult it can sometimes be to make ourselves a priority, take care of ourselves and receive, because we've been like, you know, for so many years, we've been like really good at taking care of other people and making our children a priority and the people that we take care of and our jobs and everything else. And so this is a great question to ask, and you can literally ask it 1,000 times every day. How much more ease and joy can I receive? How much more ease and joy can I receive? How much more ease and joy can I receive? And sometimes I like to ask that question to my body, you know, because our body has consciousness. We don't always acknowledge that, but our body does have consciousness. So sometimes I like to like sort of like, buddy, hi, I'm here. Buddy, how much more ease and joy can we receive today? And anything that doesn't allow this, let's pot and pocket right now. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Another great question along these lines is, how many more possibilities can I receive? And another one that goes with that one is, how many points of views am I using to refuse the possibilities I could be choosing? And everything that is, and anything that doesn't allow you to receive new possibilities, let's destroy and uncreate it now, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Here's a great question to ask when you're like in creative mode, when you're like, okay, like, you know, whether it's like you're creating a meal for yourself and your family, or you're creating a new program or a project, you know, for your clients or in your business, or whatever it is that you were, or maybe like creating like a new hairstyle for you, okay? So the question is, what can I choose and create now that I never even considered before? And anything that doesn't allow this, I destroy and uncreate. Pot and pock. Okay. And this is sort of answering the question that Bridget had in the beginning before we push record. Sometimes we get really stuck in making decisions and choosing. Typically, it's because we are trying so hard to make like the right choice and the right decision, and we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to make a mistake because we've learned for so many years, like, oh my God, I have to make the right choice, or I'm going to be punished, or I'm going to lose money, or I'm going to get fired, or, you know, you fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. So a great question to ask when, like, let's say, I think, let's say you're thinking like you would like to move into a new home, a new apartment, or a new house, right? So a great question to ask could be, okay, what would my life be like in 5 years from now if I move, if I choose this new home? And then connect with the energy of that choice as though you have already made it. What does your body feel like? What are you sensing? Are you sensing like expansion, lightness, and openness? Or are you sensing like, ooh, sort of like constriction and heaviness when you ask that question? And then you can ask the reverse of that question. What will my life be like in 5 years from now if I don't choose this? And you can literally use these two questions for anything. And then use that tool of light and heavy to just tune in to what that awareness is for you. And also know that we are changing all the time and everything is changing all the time. So perhaps you can ask this question today and it can feel really light for you to go look for a new place and to move. And maybe you're gonna ask this question in 48 hours from now and the energy feels different. So like, what would it take for each and every one of us to give ourselves the wiggle room and the permission to allow us to follow the energy in whichever way it shows up? And anything that doesn't allow this, can we destroy and uncreate it now, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And you could do the same thing. You can ask that question for relationships too. New people that enter your life, a new job, a new career, anything. You can literally almost, ask it for anything. Totally. One of the questions I love is, and this came from one of my favorite books by Dr. Dain Heer. It's called Being You, Changing the World. And that question is, what would it take for this to turn out better than I could have ever imagined? So of course you would replace the did, THIS, for anything. So like, let's say you're about to go on a family vacation. Okay, what would it take for this family vacation to turn out better than I could ever imagine? Let's say you're going to the bank to withdraw money or to make a deposit. What would it take for this to turn out better than I could ever imagine? Well, let's say you're going to spend the holidays with your in-laws and you're already kind of like cringing and like dreading what it's gonna be like because every other time you hang out with them for the holidays, it was a shitty situation. Then instead of going back to that same reaction of what that was, because that's what happened in the past, you can ask yourself this question. What would it take for this to turn out better than I could ever imagine? Does that make sense? Okay, and then a couple more questions. You can ask your body, like whenever we want to bring our body into the equation and the consciousness of our body, instead of just kind of like choosing for our body, you can actually bring your body into everything. Like you could literally ask your body, what would you like to eat now? Or how would you like to move today? Or what would you like to wear today? Because it makes it so much more fun when we include our bodies. Our bodies just get kind of like tingly and they wake up and they get so happy to be included and to not be like chosen for. So what would it take for each and every one of us to include our bodies in our life and in the choices that we're making and the questions that we're asking with total ease, joy, and glory? And anything that doesn't allow this, can we destroy and uncreate it now, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right, and two more questions to finish this juicy gathering. Before I actually go into my last two questions, how about I'm asking you, whoever's live here today, do you have any questions for me or any comments?
um, the information is just flowing through me as quick as it comes into my mind, and then it just goes out, and then there's a feeling, and I'm just taking it all in, and so many things are changing that I can't even imagine. So thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Thanks for becoming aware of that. And you actually just remind me of something else that wasn't one of my planned questions that my brain wanted to ask you tonight. And that question is, what can I acknowledge now? Well, actually, two questions. Oh my God, this is going to be way more than 10, but whatever. It's a gift for you. So, okay, first question is, what am I aware of right now? That is a question that is like the golden ticket. I mean, seriously, and honestly, I can probably pick every question that I just shared with you to be the golden ticket, okay? And this is just what's showing up. So, what am I aware of right now? You can ask yourself this question every 10 seconds, every minute, every hour, every like day, okay? What am I aware of right now that I wasn't aware of before? What am I aware of? Because what that's doing, that question is allowing you to acknowledge your awareness. A lot of times we like pick up awareness and the places that we go or the people that we connect with or the people we talk to, or like we don't even need to be in the same room with someone to pick up awareness about what's going on with someone's life. And the majority of the time, we make that awareness into something that we think it's like our thing, you know, our heaviness, our like illness, our symptom, our pain, our judgment, where 98% of the time, it's not even ours. So what am I aware of right now? What am I aware of right now? What am I aware of right now? And the question that kind of goes along with it is, who does this belong to? So when you become aware of something, and even if like, even without even asking like, what am I aware of right now? You know, if you become like, if there's something that is showing up, you can say, who does this belong to? Is this mine? So maybe you woke up with like pain on your left shoulder. You can go like, okay, who does this belong to? Is this mine? If when you say, is this mine? Like when you say, who does this belong to? You get this like light and expansive sensation. That means that whatever you're becoming aware of, it's not yours. It belongs to someone else. And if that's the case, you can say, okay, return to sender, bye-bye. Okay? And I'm gonna do more classes in the future online where I facilitate you specifically with each one of these questions and each one of these tools, because honestly, we can spend probably at least like 2 to 4 hours minimum on each of these questions and really like practically putting the tools to play in our life. But in the meantime, not but, really just and in the meantime, like you have like a fortitude of like pragmatic questions that you can ask every day in your life. Like if you don't take anything else from this gathering that we're having tonight, it's like, just know and just remember. And the only way you're going to remember, in my interesting point of view, is if you actually play with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, like the old adage, like practice makes perfect. I don't know if practice makes perfect. You know, I think our infinite beings are already perfect. That's my interesting point of view. You know, what I sense is that practice allows us to become more comfortable with whatever we're practicing. But even the word practice feels really heavy for me. So the word that I love to use instead is play. I'm going to give you like a little like tour of my Sacred Healing Playground right here. I got these swings that I like to play with, hang upside down from, another one over here. And then I have a gong in this corner. And then I have like singing bowls in that other corner. And then I have my massage table here, which is where I do my one-on-one access bar sessions and symphony sessions. And this is also where we do private yoga sessions. And I just come here, I meditate, I play. And this is how, like, I love what I'm doing all the time. I love creating and I love sharing and allowing other people like you to like just access so much more consciousness. And a great question to ask is, How much more fun can I have? How much more can I play? How much more fun can I have? How much more joy can I receive? And I think you guys are already fried, but I just want to give you 2 more questions. One is, anytime you notice that you're going into the wrongness of you or the wrongness of a situation or wrongness of a judgment or whatever you're making yourself or a situation or a person wrong, even when things like don't necessarily go the way that you expected them to go, ask this question, please. What's right about this I'm not getting? Or what's right about me I'm not getting? And everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And the last question of the night, drum roll. I have my drum. I have ginormous, like Mother Earth drum on the other corner of the room. It's so loud, like the whole house shakes when I play it. So the drum roll, if it was right here, is how does it get any better than this? So if you don't remember anything else I share with you tonight, just ask over and over and over and over again. What would it take for you to ask over and over and over and over again? How does it get any better than this? If something amazing happens for you in your life, like you just lost 20 pounds and you got like a $50,000 raise, or like your daughter just had a son, or whatever that awesomeness is for you, ask, how does it get any better than this? And whenever something happens that we've labeled as like bad, nasty, shitty, not liking it, this kind of sucks, ask the same question. How does it get any better than this? So this is how we get out of like the computation, the conclusion, the thinking, the using the mind, the trying to figure out, and then doing things in the exact same way we've been doing them for eons of time. So truly, how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible for each and every one of us that we didn't think is possible and no one believed was possible? That if we allowed the possibilities, it would actualize a whole different reality. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right, those are my questions. How are we doing? Any final comments or questions before we say goodbye?
No. I'm just loving it all stirring around in my head.
Awesome.
I wanted to go back to the question of what am I sensing, because when I drove around looking for a place to live, I'm so sensitive to the energies, and it was a high population area, and so I'm not. I pick up a lot of stuff, like, and I can't always tell what's mine. But it's so many people here, and there's so many EMF frequencies that really I was sensing the electromagnetic frequencies all over with all the people in the city environment. So I don't really know how to handle all that.
Okay, you can literally go into everything that is and everything that's allowing it to exist. I destroy and create it now. And then you go POD and POC. Everything that is, everything that's allowing it to exist, POD and POC. Everything that is, everything that's allowing it to exist, POD and POC. And if whatever you're picking up is not yours, then you just go into, okay, return to sender with consciousness now.
Oh, I love that. Return to sender. I love that.
Yeah, because a lot of times we try to change something that we thought was ours, or we bought the lie that it was ours. But if it's not yours, you're not going to be able to change it because it's not yours.
Oh. Oh my gosh, that just put me in a whole new light.
Yay! How does it get any better than this? So if you remember any of the questions I share, and this isn't a test, this is just curiosity, like what was your favorite question of the night?
Who does this belong to?
Yay.
That was the question that kind of sung in my heart.
Hmm.
Because there's been a couple of things going on around me, but I needed to hear that tonight and be reminded of it, I should say.
Awesome. And what would it take for you to play with it now?
Oh, I'm so excited. That's all I keep. That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing.
Awesome.
And
I feel
the
that
one,
much lighter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
don't be sorry, it's fine. What is right about this that I'm not getting?
Yeah. Those two questions, I mean, all the questions are awesome, and those two questions are literally like to put them on Post-its all around your house and in reminders on the phone to be like popping up all the time. I write so many questions on my notes that I can just like pull up and say. We can also record them so you can hear them all the time. Just place reminders where you can see them and then play with them, and it's like, whoa, what else is truly possible that we didn't think was possible? So awesome, so amazing.
That's great.
Very cool. Well, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight or listening to the recording. And if you would like to learn more about upcoming classes or trainings, or if you're interested in getting a one-on-one Access Bar session with me or a Symphony Possibility session, feel free to go to my website, veronicaparker44.com, or you can email me at accessmoreofyou@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Veronica Parker _44, and same tags for Instagram. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And what else is possible for us? Have an amazing night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.